Hi, welcome back to Tao of Twang. I'm Dave. So everything you do here matters as far as like how you set all this stuff up. The mic, the levels, obviously, the sounds that we're using, the camera angle, and so forth. And I don't have the most, pro setup that there is for this sort of thing, but I try to keep it dialed in. So keep improving it. So hopefully we've got a good angle here. I've really been working on this. Even got a different chair, and you know, where it you're getting hopefully a nice straight ahead view of the guitar, right? And without zooming in, I've done that before, but then people say, it's kind of not as fun if we can't see, see you and like we're talking and stuff, right? And I see the value of that too. It's kind of weird when you just turn on a video and it's like just a guitar with fingers on it or something. Right? Sometimes that can be helpful, but hopefully this is a best of both worlds here. We're really working on this. Now, we're also getting ready to sell our house, and you know, the new place, which we haven't picked out yet. But one of the criteria is, we're really taking into consideration what the channel and the production stuff is going to be like in the new house. So it's not just going to be the corner of the room over here anymore or whatever, it'll be a designated space, and we're really going to kind of start over and go next level on it. Really excited about it. And of course, in the process of selling this house, there will be some impact, right, and some interruptions, and obviously people have to come see the house, and realtors, and so on and so forth. And I'm going to have to probably, you know, reel it in here a little bit. You can't really see. I keep it out of the view of the camera, but you know, this is there's like a snake pit, right under my chair right here, and that's not an exaggeration. It's pretty crazy. So we'll see. We're excited about it. It's a big change, and we're just going to really use it as a way to kind of, like I said, assess where we are with the channel and go next level with it. So I started off today. I was going to use the loop pedal again because I'm really adamant about how that can help you with your overall, you know, musicianship, practice, and sense of sort of being global approach to everything that you're doing. You're playing the chords, you're soloing over it, you're playing the rhythm, you can choose the tempo. All of those things work to your advantage. However, I did decide at one point, with all the clicking around and, the just kind of stuff that would change it, I move around too much and it gets harder to see, it affects the mic and so forth. So I went ahead and just made a simple loop, this 3 chord loop, to for our lesson today, and it's G F C G. Okay, it's just guitar. I'll play a little bit of it. Volume on. Okay, that's it. Now, make your own loop, whatever tempo you want. Turn it off and on when you're practicing. You don't have to have a setup like this going on, right? Um, Here's what we're doing. I've got a few little pieces of tab here for some G major licks. Okay, so we're going to say that the thing's centered around a G major. Notice I didn't say it was in G major. Put in the comments. There's our trivia question for today, our pop quiz or whatever. What key, major key, do the analysis yourself, and let's see if we get some different theories or if we all agree or what. What key are we in here? If the progression is G, all major, F, C, G, okay? I'm not going to talk about a whole lot of that today. This is part of this show you how to jam. This is how we're going to get it done here. I've got a couple little sequences, licks to tabbed out here for you, and they're just to prime the pump, right? They're not going to take a lot of your time. Once you look at the tab a couple times and get it, you're done. That's not about just studying tab with this, right? But and you can use these licks that I'm about to put up here, these moves, over the whole thing, okay? But part of the routine here is we're going to use more of lines over the G and then chords over the F and the C. So without even putting the track on, something like this. Okay, now when you do put your track on, or your looper, or somebody else that you're jamming with, then of course you've got the support of the chords there and stuff. You can still play chords over it, right? Let me turn mine on and demonstrate it that way. A little quicker, isn't it? Okay, now that doesn't need a whole lot of analysis, right? That's the routine. Licks over the G, play the different locations, cage-shaped versions, and of those triads for the F and the C. They're all major. Now, what happens right away is you can see that, like, how in this simple song I am by doing that, right? Instead of, I don't just keep rambling throughout, right? There's a routine there, right? So right away we're locked into something. There's a system. Right? I'm back to the air guitar and the scat singing, right? It's just easy to connect to. If you can imagine it, you can do it, right? What is if you can dream it, it can have, right? It's, try to really allow those connections to happen, right? It's not just like, oh, what's the right lick? I'm gonna have to go look that one back up because I don't remember it or whatever. It's sing it to yourself, right? Make that loop and just think, kind of let yourself listen to it. And notice when I play the F and the C, I'm not just playing the duplicate rhythm of those parts, right? Now there I put a little lick on the C, didn't I? So, and that's all good too. Let it all happen. But the basic routine here is lick over the G, triads in different places. You want to get around the neck doing this, okay? So now let's look at a couple of these lick ideas. I got to put it up here to make sure I'm showing you exactly how I wrote it. Now, this first two actually, come in sort of after the downbeat. So it went. So it's like 1, 1 and 2 and the 3 and 4 and then the 5, something like that, right? But don't worry about the counting because it also could be anywhere in there, right? But the way it's written right there, that's why that G is sitting there and then there's a little pause. Don't stress over that, right? If you immediately find yourself like, I'm going to back it, I'm not counting it, just remind yourself, don't worry about it, right? Put that loop on and just get that lick going any way you want it, like this. We'll start with the way that I suggested. Now I'll do it an octave higher. I backed it up right there so I could go. Kind of sketchy, right? I like it. I just landed on a different chord tone for the G. Okay, so now I played through a little bit. Now notice right away that the licks will work through the whole progression. Okay, and you'll be tempted to do that, right? But check this out. I'm going to do the lick, then I'm going to play triads over the other two chords. Okay, got lost for a second. No big deal, right? It's not all written out, right? It's just that F and that C are just different triad positions depending on kind of where you are when they arrive, right? And that's a good way to, kind of mortar in several different skills at once. The location of those triads, the relationship and the spatial uh, arrangement of where they are next to one another in different places and so forth. But it also gives you kind of a real musical, almost like there's a lyric over the G, and then a drum fill or a bass, line and a little rhythm lick over the other two chords or something like that, right? So there's a lot of musical things, elements that are being employed when you're doing this. And you don't have to race through it. You don't have to go G. Now I got to do an F arpeggio, then a C, then a relax, right? Just come back to that G stuff, right? And then go after those chord licks, those rhythm licks, riffs. Now here's another one. Okay, just to get you some more, fuel there to get it going, right? It's the same kind of timing. Right, lands you on another chord tone of G, right? But not the same chord tone, right? It's actually what is that? The fifth, the D, right? And here's one more. Now this one I wrote where it starts on the downbeat, the way that I wrote it, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Sometimes on that C, I'm doing another little suspended fourth lick, right? And that's just, if you have stuff like that you use that's already working for you, throw it in there, you know. All right. Now let's look real quick at the G stuff that's going on here. It's G major pentatonic, the lick part, that, the stuff in the tab and what we've been demonstrating so far. There's one note added to it, I think in every instance of the tabbed part, right? So first, let's look at our G major pentatonic. The formula for major pentatonic is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Okay, so we're talking scale tones out of the major scale for that, right? So, right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Make sure you know that formula. That's important. You don't have to think about it every minute that you're playing, but you want to, if you ever get lost, like, you need to be able to map that out. Take that major scale, right, and exclude those two notes rather than get confused and talk about what to take out. Just put 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Okay. I'm putting the fourth in a lot though, right? So when we go, starting there on the third of the G major, the note is B, but then I'm going up to that C. That's the fourth note of the scale. Somebody the other day in a lesson, and I don't remember the term, was talking about Dickie Betts, and some of them referring to this scale as like having a different name. They'd kind of given it a pet name. Based on like the six, not six, but like six number of tones in the scale rather than five, like a hexatonic or something like that. I don't know. I probably said it wrong, but it's interesting, right? Because they do use that so much. They add the fourth in with that major pentatonic. So that's what's going on here a lot. All right. So I just wanted to mention that. And that's something you can carry over to a lot of major centered jams. All right. So let's do a little bit of demo here with the backing track on this, and then just get you right to your playing. Okay. It's not a whole lot of stuff to, go back over here on theory, right? This routine is what this is about. And then we'll see how this works out for you. And then maybe we'll drill down in there a little bit more on some upcoming videos and play more of the full Mixolydian, sequence, and see how that fits into the other chords and so forth. If you're already doing that, great, right? But take the challenge today. Try to keep yourself in this routine and see what happens. You might surprise yourself. Let's get my backing track on here, and I'll just play a little bit, and then we'll get you out of here. Have fun. Let me know how this goes. Appreciate all of you. As always, take care. I'll see you next time.